My new boyfriend, 38, lied about his age. I'm 23, f. I met this guy on a music festival app. He responded to one of my posts and I reached out to him. Before the festival we spent the entire week getting to know each other, FaceTiming every night. I wanted to read his chart so I asked what year he was born and he said 1997, making him 24/25. We met at the festival and there was an instant spark between us. I fell for him hard. We fell in love. It felt so real. Such a pure and genuine connection. He lives 5 hours away and we both agreed to try a long-distance relationship. On the way home from the festival he called me and told me he lied about his age. He said he was insecure about it and didn't expect to fall in love with me. I'm so confused. He didn't look 25-ish but he definitely did not look 38. What the fuck? What I felt with him felt so good and so real but I still feel betrayed. I don't know what to do. Sad face. You fell in love in a week? I'm asking this in a completely non-judgmental way. Were you on psychedelics? I'd walk. Shaving 13 years off your age is a huge lie. Would make me wonder what else he's lying about. Cut off contact. He didn't do this out of insecurity. An almost 40 years old guy preying on early 20s women at music festivals is unbelievably creepy. And on top of that, he lied to you. There's a reason women his age aren't interested in him. He is full of red flags. He is a liar, not insecure. He isn't in love that quick either. Something similar happened to me. I also felt a genuine connection, and he was also so nice at first. But I was young and naive, 23, and made myself think age is just a number. It really isn't. I'll spare the details but it was an emotionally abusive relationship that included a lot of lies. He used his age and experience over me a lot. I think the fact you already got started off on the wrong foot with a lie is enough to know what's best for you. You'll find the happiness you deserve, just not with him. Don't settle for anything less than your worth. How do I say, I wasn't offered any family wedding rings diplomatically? Hi all. First time long time. Obligatory mobile warning. So my 32F brother, 40, is 8 years older than I am and we've never really had a close relationship, his choice. I don't fault him for that. Our parents suck and I was a good target to project onto. When he got engaged, both our grandmothers, both grandpas were dead at the time. Still are. Last I checked, gave them their wedding engagements rings. Both had been talking about it for a while to the fam so it surprised no one. A little while later I find out that my mother has also given them her rings. I then asked her what was left for me and the look of surprise, fear, and guilt that came over her left no doubt in my mind. She had forgotten about me. Now the grandmothers are both in their late 90s and don't talk to each other so it wasn't like some massive conspiracy to deprive me of a wedding, engagement ring. And my mom just got so excited and jumped at the opportunity to be included, prove her worth. It sucks, but is pretty on brand for my family and no one did it out of spite so I've let it go. This was 6 years ago and they've been married for 5 years now and I couldn't be happier for them. She is as awesome as she is lovely and they really seem to make each other happy. Ideal couple. Now I'm engaged, yay. And my wonderful fiancé, gosh that's fun to say, got me the most perfect ring. It's custom with some of his family stones as well as new stones. Without giving it away, basically it has his family stones surrounding a sapphire. The concept was combining past and present to create a future. Very sappy, but so am I, so he nailed it. Here's my dilemma. My family is flying in for our engagement party. His family know about their heirlooms being used, and most of those know the reason why. So I can do my best to divert attention away from the ring and the stones when it comes up in conversation. But I'm afraid that eventually I won't be able to avoid it and, well basically how do I say we used the rings, stones that were given to us. My Sil has the biggest heart and will just die if she feels like she took something that should be mine. They didn't use all the stones, rings and might try to give me those. Which is so generous, but not what I want. They weren't given to me so it would feel wrong to take them. I have to take care of my mother when she feels guilty about things she's done to me. And best case scenario my dad just doesn't care and stays out of the way. Also the most likely scenario with him lol. IDK how my brother will react. Prob turn it on me that I'm entitled for expecting anything, which is somewhat fair. No one owes me anything. Basically, how do I sidestep this landmine of, I didn't reject my family heirlooms for his, and, our family didn't keep for me. As I type this out I realize I probably just have to bite the bullet and have this conversation. Barf. Any advice on how to phrase it? You can tell them the truth, that your brother got married a few years ago and all family heirlooms were gifted to him. That's direct, doesn't throw anyone under the bus. Just the truth. I'm so sorry this happened to you. That sounds like it would be incredibly hurtful to be forgotten by your loved ones in this way. You don't have to explain anything? Your fiancé took care of the ring and that's that. It's a non-issue, but it will definitely become one if you bring it up on your own. Maybe I'm weird, but this seems like you're very much overthinking it. I would expect most people to just say, "Nice ring," and move on. If for some weird reason they do ask if any stones are family heirlooms, you just say yes. If it gets even weirder and they ask if any were from your family, you just say no, I didn't have any to incorporate. That's it. If anyone says, "Oh no, I have some leftover you can have," you just say no thanks, I'm good with my ring, or you accept the stones for future jewelry. This is such a wealthy first world problem, I'm having a hard time even writing this. You don't say it at all unless you are asked directly. Generally speaking, an engagement ring presented to the woman by the man. I believe that it is much more common for a man's family rings, stones, to be used for an engagement ring than a woman's. It is likely that your sil will not find it strange, since I assume that is essentially what your brother did in proposing to her. If it does, exclaim again how beautiful and meaningful your own ring is and how much you love it. Do you really think anyone will even ask? I feel like you're overthinking this. I just assume people bought their wedding rings unless they tell me otherwise. It would never occur to me to ask anyone where their ring came from or whether it was an heirloom or anything. Do you really think someone is going to ask you why your fiancé doesn't have stones from your family to make your ring? I don't think it is too surprising that he has stones from his family heirlooms. If the question does come up, it will likely be to ask about the ring and history, rather than why don't you have your mother's or grandmother's rings, which would be pretty rude to ask. Recently found out my parents had a secret daughter and now she's living with us. I, 18 male, was adopted by my parents when I was 6. I was always told that this was because they couldn't have any children of their own. However, it has recently been revealed to me that my mother's fertility issues didn't appear until her 20s and that they had had a biological child, 31 female. They were 15 when she was born and not ready to be parents, and neither of their parents wanted to be involved, so they put her up for adoption. She got in contact when she was 18 and they've remained in touch. All throughout my life, they would take occasional weekend trips, leaving me with my grandparents, which it turns out were not romantic getaways but trips to see her. They have met the woman that fostered her for most of her teens and they were even at her wedding in 2016. I'm still not entirely sure why they wanted to keep her a secret, but it is clear that they never wanted me to know. Unfortunately, her house flooded recently and she and her husband don't have much money, so they've moved in with us. To say it is awkward would be an understatement. To make matters worse, my dad tried to introduce her to me as a friend from work, but they had to give up the ruse when she referred to them as her parents. My parents are unwilling to give me any more information and it's clear that this new sister of mine doesn't like me very much. My mother seems to have done a 180 from wanting to hide her from me to wanting us to get along as siblings, but I don't think that will ever happen. It's very strange and I don't really know what to do. Why can't they just tell the full story? You can't just meet someone and oh great, we are siblings. She most likely wonders why they would adopt you when they already had a kid they gave away. Not a great way to start a sibling relationship. So everybody is gonna skip over the part where his dad introduced him as a friend from work? WTF. Can you go stay with your grandparents? I'd get out of there to avoid the awkwardness. It's weird they didn't tell you about her existence for all these years and even tried to lie when she moved in. That doesn't make sense. You should get some space from all of them. I agree with the other commenter suggesting staying with your grandparents if possible. This is a lot of change all at the same time and it would be understandable that you would need space and time to process it. Honestly, the secrecy and sense of betrayal would be enough for me to need time to think. Forcing cohabitation on top of that is not a good situation. She's 13 years older than you, she's married, her house just flooded. You were the child who was actually raised by her parents. It's going to be a bit awkward for a bit. Just be nice, see how the relationship develops. It's possible she, the bio-daughter, is upset about why her bio-parents couldn't take care of her, but they were willing to take care of someone else who isn't their bio-kid. That's just a guess. Obviously, by the time they were ready to take care of you, they were older and in better situation with finances. So unfortunately, your sister will have to figure things out either on her own or with help of therapist. There's nothing you did wrong, but it does seem like your parents were trying to downplay something in the family relationship. So there might be some things your parents are doing wrong as well, even if they think they're doing what is best for everyone. My 22F partner, 22M, wants another child and I do not. My partner and I have been on the rocks recently, but our child just turned 1. She was an accident, but she is loved. Now he is saying he wants another kid because he wants them close in age. I have been the main caregiver as I stayed at home due to childcare costs. I just recently started university and I'm finally getting to have some space from my child. I have been with her every single day 24/7. I don't trust him to watch her for long periods of time due to very conflicting parenting difference. He is now upset with me because I told him I'm mentally and physically. I want to be more fit before getting pregnant again, not ready to have another child. He keeps bringing it up and I keep telling him that I don't want another child until I'm done with school and my youngest is in school. I just don't know what to do. If you don't trust him with your kid, then why are you even with him? And why aren't you being honest with him about it? I'm sorry, you don't even trust this man with your current kid? Why would that not automatically be cause for a breakup? Get an IUD. It's very interesting now that you have independence, school, and things going for you that he wants another baby. Maybe he has baby fever. Maybe he's controlling and wants you locked up in the house barefoot and pregnant. Most importantly, he has demonstrated that he is a father in name but never in action. He doesn't deserve another child. Get an IUD. Better yourself. Assess if hubby here has demonstrated other red flags and decide if you want to be with a selfish, negligent man who, you can't trust to be alone with his own child. Not the asshole. Don't have another kid before you're ready. Don't do it. Especially not with a man that you don't trust to parent the kid you already have. And speaking of that, do you want to stay with a person that you can't trust to look after your shared children? Looking at your post history and this, it's clear that you need to end things. What's the point in staying with a man you can't trust your child with? My father was abusive. When I was old enough to understand what a divorce was, I begged my mom to leave him. She didn't leave him until I was an adult. None of my siblings were spared from his treatment. I'm saying this to you because you've probably thought about, my child needs a father, or worried about the financial realities of leaving him. But trust me, your child will be happier, healthier, and safer in an environment away from him. And so will you.